going what? Where?
I'm going to live with Mahmoud in Egypt.
But I thought you're separating.
So, hold on a minute. She's going back to Egypt, but they had broken up. Surely there should be some more to the story, right?
We were married for about 11 months when I told Mahmoud that I wanted a divorce. I canceled Mahmoud's visa application and I blocked him.
You know, the way she has such a straight face. Such a straight face. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a cheeky little backstory in case you're not a member of Patreon, where we have done the full reaction to the full episode. Link is down below in the description. So Nicole over here met her man on the last day of her being in Egypt. They decided to then have a nice little cheeky date just before she flew away, and then after that they communicate over social media within due course. All right, cool. They got along, so what happened? She flew back to Egypt, and then they got married. But then once they got married, after a week of living in Egypt, she decided to bounce back to the States because the culture shock just wasn't for her. So therefore, she left Egypt to go back to the States, which is then when she started to apply for the visa for him to come to America. But in that timeline, she was going back and forth from Egypt to America to see him. But they also had ridiculous amounts of arguments, and because of the arguments, they decided to call it quits after 11 months of being married. But then somehow, she's going back to Egypt. I know. I'm trying to process the situation right now. Maybe you get there quicker than I have. And if you have, let me know how this makes total sense to you in the comment section. And I'll repeat myself one more time. She met this guy in Egypt, got married to him, moved there, didn't like it there, so she moved back. Then she applied for a visa, but then they fell out too many times. So therefore, she decided to block him as well as cancel the application for the visa. So how did we get here? How did we get here? TLC are good at finding their train wrecks. And you know what? Jen is already a very questionable train wreck. But Nicole over here, she's a different breed. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say, right? Words say a lot of things, but somebody's body language, as you can see, screams a whole lot more. And I'm screaming, I wouldn't say Harley Quinn before she became Harley Quinn, and I wouldn't say Harley Quinn as she was Harley Quinn. I would say more she was Harley Quinn. She's more like Harley Quinn from another universe. A universe that we haven't seen yet of just pure insanity. But listen.
No, not the cousins. No cousins. Yeah.
What about his family? Like,
no. Anybody I could potentially marry, and in their culture, they do marry the cousins, So,
one of the reasons why they didn't work out was because of all the rules that was given to her. In fact, being around his family was just too much because it was too strict, and she always felt as if, well, whenever she done something new, it was always a new rule that she broke that she didn't know existed. In this situation, this one is about how she's not allowed to make physical contact with any man but her man or her own father. But she's not allowed to make any physical contact with her own cousins, nor is she allowed to make any physical contact with his cousins. And as you heard right there, one of the reasons is because, well, in their culture, you can still marry your own cousin. So despite the fact that in her culture, you can't marry cousins, I guess they don't really give a damn. And they're like, no, you still can't touch yours. So that's one of the reasons why it just didn't work out the first time. Why she's going back? Now, that is the $1 million, not even that. That is just the question, isn't it, alone? Because I wouldn't even pay $1 million to answer that question or to even care for it, honestly. That is just a question that eludes us thinking, so what the hell is wrong with you? Are you okay? Don't answer that question because you're clearly not. But anyway.
After 6 months had passed of not being with him, I still thought about Mahmoud every single day. Mahmoud is totally different than anybody I've ever dated. He's not a tortured poet, art kind of guy.
Why can't we just live in a world where people don't settle themselves or that are not good for them? I'm one of these people that believes, and this is the thing, you can easily disagree, of course. I'm one of these people that believe that everybody has a person in this world. In fact, everybody has more than one person in this world. It's just a matter of finding one of those people for you. Okay? And when you find that person, that is the person that clearly you have a connection with that you can never have with, anyone else, unless, of course, you was to come across that person that is similar to them. And the reason I say this is because we live in such a big world that if I was to find someone here in the UK, I will probably be able to match someone exactly like them if I went to another country. You see what I'm saying, okay? But like, again, I said before, everyone in this world has a match, okay? We have matches and we have a match, right? And when you find that match, you will know it because you will not have to compromise yourself. You will not have to jeopardize yourself. You will not have to change yourself in any kind of way. But also at the same time, though, I also believe that in this world, people also have people who they are matched with in other areas. There are people who are compatible with just sexually. There are people who are compatible with just on a friendship level. There are people who are just compatible with on a mental level. There are people who are compatible with in different ways. But I will tell you this now, one thing that we should never, ever, ever, ever do is settle ourselves to be with someone that is compatible in only one of those things. We should be with someone that is compatible in every single way possible that is good for us and also good for them, if you dig what I'm saying. That's why personally, actually no, I'll leave that to myself to. But like I said, at the end of the day, people sometimes need to accept their role in people's lives, okay? Sometimes your role may be just to have a little bit of fun. Your role may be just to be friends. Your role may be a bit more. But whatever that role is, make sure it's a role that doesn't make you feel like you are settling. It's a role that makes you feel comfortable being in your own skin, but you're like, you know what? Because I find that person sexually attractive, you know what? F it, I'm just going to sleep. But if there's a person who you actually want to be with, you know what? I've said enough now. I'm pretty sure I made my point, right? The point being is that this show is ridiculous, isn't it? Because we're always finding people who are not the perfect match. And then in the end, for us to actually like a couple, we just have to take the couple that has the most sanest values. But even when we watch that couple, we're like, you really a match though? Anyway, I've spoken way too long, overextended way too long. I'm going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Either way, though, this woman right here is absolutely bonkers. What is she doing? I haven't got a clue. It is see now. Anyway, with that being said, full reaction on Patreon, link down below in the description. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm going to get myself out of here before I talk some more crap. Peace.